Hey guys, good morning. Happy Friday. All right, we've made it through our first full week of virtual school, and I think we've all done an amazing job. Give us a round of applause. Okay, there we go. All right, so today we are taking it just a little bit easy. I'm trying not to give you too many assignments because we are going to try to catch up on some assignments maybe that you haven't done yet. So today in reading, we are talking about making visualizations. Gosh, that's a hard word. Let's all try to say it. Visualizations. Yeah, it's a tongue twister, isn't it? A visualization just means that you are making like a movie in your mind while you're reading. And I know that when we read picture books like what we've been reading mostly, like My Rotten Red-Headed Older Brother and Big Red Lollipop, those are something called picture books, which means they have lots of pictures on every page. It's not so important to use visualizations in picture books because they have pictures to show you what's going on. But we are getting older and we're going to start reading longer books, maybe even some chapter books soon. And when you're reading some of those chapter books, there are not going to be any pictures on every page to show you what's going on. You're going to have to make like a movie in your head, like you're going to have to imagine it. So you have to think about what you're reading and kind of picture it in your head. Now, I know when you're watching a movie, you don't have to do that because it's showing you what's happening. But when we read, we just read the words. We have to make the pictures ourselves. And good readers do that. When they are reading something, they are kind of watching it in their brain too. I do that all the time when I read. I love to read. It's one of my favorite things. And of course, I'm much too old to be reading picture books, even though I do enjoy reading picture books sometimes. I read a lot of chapter books. And when I'm reading them, I have to make a movie in my head of what's happening. I can see it. When I read it, I can think about it and imagine it. And that's what good readers do. We make visualizations. Goodness, that word's hard for me today. So, and I bet you've done this before and you didn't even realize it. Have you ever felt like you were the character in the book you're reading? Or have you ever cried or laughed about something you read? Well, if you have, you're visualizing when you read. Whether you realize it or not, you've made yourself part of the story. And I'll give you an example. I remember when my son Jonah was in the 3rd grade, he was reading a book about a dog that died. Yeah, I know, it's really sad. And he got so upset about that story that he cried. Yeah, he wouldn't even finish the book. I remember his teacher told me that, I had to go find him a new book for AR time because he couldn't read it. It made him so upset. He was visualizing in his brain. I'm sorry that it made him upset, but he was doing what good readers do. He was making a picture and he was making himself part of the story. That helps you remember it and it helps you know that you are understanding what you read. And that's kind of the whole goal of reading is, can you read words and do you understand what you're reading? So that's kind of what we work on in reading. So you've probably done it. So we're going to practice just a little bit now. All right, so I'm going to read some sentences and I want you to try to make a picture in your mind of what's happening. And you can even act it out if you want to. If you want to do it too. So Mama parked her hands on her hips and glared at me. Can you see Mama in your brain? In your mind? Oh, I can. I see that glare. See those hands on the hips? We've just made a movie in our brain of what Mama looked like. We didn't need a picture in a book. We made a picture in our head. That's making a visualization. All right, ooh, this one might be about me. It says, Jessie twisted a damp tissue around and around in her lap, and every now and then she dabbed at her nose. Can you make that picture in your brain? Can you see her twisting that tissue? Yeah, that's what good readers do. You're making a picture in your brain. You don't need a picture on the book. All right, we'll try just a couple more. Then she started crying real hard, like the way little kids cry. Make that picture in your brain. Can you see that person crying so hard? Have you ever cried real hard like that? Yeah, you're making yourself part of the story. All right, Mama sipped her coffee, squinting through the steam. Can you see Mama sipping on her coffee, making that movie in your head? Can you see her squinting through the steam of the coffee? Can you see the steam rising up from the coffee? Yeah, you're just making a picture in your brain. And I peered over the gate at the house. I kind of imagine the little kid on their tiptoes trying to peer over the gate. That's the movie I see in my head. Maybe they can barely see over it. Making these pictures in our brain are what make us good readers. It helps us make the story important to us. And we can do that in My Rotten Red-Headed Older Brother and Big Red Lollipop. There I am. Just like in My Rotten Red-Headed Older Brother. I don't have to. They've got lots of great pictures, but I don't have to use those pictures. I can use those movies in my brain, when they're arguing back and forth. No, you can't, cannot, can. So I can see them. Like their faces maybe are so close and they've got mean faces because they're arguing. Can you see that movie in your brain? Yeah, me too. That's what good readers do. They make a movie in their brain when they're reading. Oh, and the part right after she fell off the merry-go-round and they're all huddled around her bed. I mean, yeah, we have a picture, but I can imagine how relieved they all look, and maybe they're giving her hugs and everybody's smiling. I can see that because everybody's so glad she's happy and she's better now. So I can see that in my brain, and I know that, I've been sick before, and my mom and dad were really relieved and glad when I wasn't sick anymore. They were glad I felt better. So I know kind of how that feels. That's making a visualization. We can do the same thing in Big Red Lollipop. I can see the movie in my brain of her running home to tell her mom about the invitation because she's so excited. I can see her doing that, her running through the door. I can see the door just slinging open. That's making a visualization in your brain, making those things like that. Sorry, I'm going to leave it off. I'll check on it in just a second. Those are visualizations. That's what good readers do. So when you're reading, not just these two stories, but all year long when we're reading, we're going to try to make sure that we're making visualizations in our brain and making those movies so that we can remember what we read, and it'll make the stories more interesting to us. All right, I have a quick assignment that you guys will do about visualizations where you get to draw a picture. So good luck and happy Friday, guys.